Well, welcome to our first demo of Croptoberfest. I'm starting out by showing you a really cool layout that has been going around on the CM Advisor boards, and I'm not sure where else it's been, but it's been around. And it's a really neat layout using our jumbo circle cutter, part of the custom cutting system, and that was a pattern that was re-released. Some of you might have it from back in the day, the old CM, but they've re-released it, and so it's now available once again. So I didn't find any instructions per se, so I had to sort of play with it myself a little bit, and I'll share with you sort of what happened as I went about trying to figure out the best way to do this. So you might notice that I haven't totally finished this, but this is what the finished product is going to look like. And people have suggested this would make a really fun title page. You could put the year of your album in the center. People have mentioned to do a circle in the center and mount a single photo, or maybe even a rectangle with a photo. I thought you could potentially do a smaller photo here, and maybe a journaling box with an embellishment, sort of using these as your focal points. But I think it's just a fun way to take advantage of our double-sided designer papers. And this is from the Picture This collection, which is really fun because it features cameras and sort of the flash of the old flash cameras, and lots of blues and aquas, so really fun colors. So the actual making of this is simple. It's actually going to be the trimming in and making sure you get it to look just the way you want it to. So what you want to start out with, you're going to end up using 3 sheets of paper. One is going to be your background paper. So here I have the aqua with the white dots from, I believe it's the Tone on Tone Picture This. And then you're going to choose two other ones. So I used the camera sheet and for the first circle, and you're going to want to take your jumbo circle and you're going to cut both on the outside and on the inside edges using the red blade. So let me grab it. So a few just helpful hints. When you're using any of these blades for the custom cutting system, they come, the nice way to store them is like that. But I get lazy and I just leave mine sitting out like that. And the 2 little feet are always going to need to be in the tracks, either the outside or the inside. And you do want to make sure you have both of them in the track before you start to cut, or else it'll actually tear the paper instead of cut the paper. And basically you're just going to move it all the way around. You just take your time with the larger papers, and then you're going to make sure that this is wiggling. You can take it off, and then you do the same thing with the inside. So you can see I just used the scraps of the camera paper to show you that. And then you're going to take a second sheet of designer paper, and you're going to do the same thing. So this is I've cut out the circle that I'm going to use for the layout. So once you have your circles, you can see that I took each circle and I cut them in half. And the easiest way to do this was to just fold the circle, make nice creases on either end, and then use your multi-purpose scissors and just cut through that fold, and you'll end up with your four sides. And what I ended up doing, I was having a really difficult time getting these to lay flat, to kind of, you can't get them to match up perfectly. I think because one of them would have had to have been cut just a hair smaller than the other. So I went back online and did some research, and it looks like what people did was they would do the best they can, tape these, and then they would trim. And what I found to be pretty helpful was to use paper clips to sort of hold each one in place while I was sort of jiggling around with the other side. And the other thing that I did that was a little different was the original pattern had sort of alternated. They had, actually they didn't alternate, they had the dotted dark blue two sides of the circle on the top of each of the corners, and I found that by sort of alternating them, it seemed to let things lay a bit more flat. So you can see mine's still kind of not perfect, but when you do the paper clips, it lets you sort of play with how it's going to lay before you start to do your taping. And I'm going to use the Repositional tape runner, and I'm just going to go corner by corner. Come on. And I'm going to put a little bit down. And what this is obviously going to allow me to do is to reposition if I feel like I need to. Oops, I just like sent the whole thing flying here. You can see it's a little bit fussy. I'll put that one down. And we'll put the last one down. You have to be kind of patient with this one. So it's still bopping up a little bit here. So I'm just going to go like that, and we'll just hope for the best. Let this go a little bit, and there we go. All right, so I'm going to take my multi-purpose scissors, and I'm just going to cut right along where there's an overlap. That. And on the last one, and then the very last one. All right, so we can just get rid of all those. And, oh dear. Guess you have to be a little bit careful when you're going to actually tape it down. So once again, I'm going to use the Repositional again to tape this down onto my background sheet. Now you could choose to not use a background sheet and just tape this right down onto your your refill page, but I'm going to make it kind of more fancy and play with it so that I have it kind of the way I want it. I think that'll work. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to put a little bit down on these areas that are kind of popping up a little bit so that it'll lay pretty flat. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So of course, when you put your photos on this, it's going to, give it another layer of adhesion. All right, I think that's pretty good. So there you have it. Kind of a fun way to use our jumbo circle template. An interesting way to be using the designer paper by the contrasting sides. And I think it would be just a fun thing to try. It's always fun to, go out of our comfort zone and try something new. So if you do end up creating this layout, I hope you'll choose to post it to our Facebook page today. I look forward to our next demo later on this afternoon. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.